Hey, it's me, John Lavelle, and I'm doing a video on bending limbs for bonsais. I've done this video so many times. I have so much trouble with this webcam thing, and my audio keeps knocking out, so I'm going to attempt to do this again. Either that or I'm going to get another computer and a new webcam. Anyways, I've been having trouble with the 5mm wire, and if you go heavier than that, I can barely bend it, let alone get into tight loops around a branch that's smaller than my finger. I've actually broke limbs. I don't look forward to the job because it's hours of work. I can't do it by hand. I have to do it with tools and try and get this around. I've got this tail end of a wire I'm trying to get in there inside of a bushy bonsai, and the bonsai doesn't like it because it's so it was so destructive to it, and it's so hard to get tight around that thing. Like if you want to bend it into shapes, the coil is not so hard. It's getting that coil around the branches, and I'm doing several of them, and another thing, it leaves marks, and I'm having a real hard time getting that coil out. I'm doing one right now, but like I don't use that method. This bonsai I'm doing now is I bought the bonsai with the wire coiled around it, and I need to get that wire out, and I've been working on it, and it's hard. Like I see guys cutting these things off like they're nothing, and I can't even cut them, and I got the best tools there are, and just too hard to work with. And so I want to show you what I came up with. I did this a long time ago, and it's the answer to everything as far as bending limbs, and I can do all this work very, very quickly and efficiently. And I think that coiling idea, it was a gold standard whenever that bending limbs came into play, and it's never been upgraded. And I decided this is just way too difficult. If it's difficult for me, it's difficult for other people. So anyways, I'll show you. All I do now is I take a wire, and I don't coil it. I take it and I bend it into the shape I want it into, and then I cut it off. So I have this wire. I do it right at my desk. I don't even go near a bonsai. I just do wires at my desk. I have short pieces, longer pieces, depending, and I can trim them out there when I get outside. When I want to load them in, I can cut them to whatever length I want. And I'll show you what I have here. Okay, presto, here's a wire. You see this wire here? You'll notice it's not coiled. It's just bent into this shape. I just bend the shape. You can see it's all distorted. Very exotic, if you want to call it exotic for limb bending. And this here is the limb. I don't know if you can see that. I'm having a hard time with the light here. We're almost there. That's the limb there, okay? This is for just demonstration purposes. So the limb comes down here. It's free to come down here. And what happens is it's right up against the wire here. And I put a pole tie on there to hold it there. So this thing is quite secure. It's secure on the wire. And then when it comes around here, you can see it coming around here, so does the limb come around there. And I've basically put another pole tie right there in the curve, and then it curves back out, and I put another pole tie there, and it comes around here, and there's another pole tie there, and then it comes around here, and I put another pole tie there, and then I ended it because this is just for demonstration purposes, and this part here is of no consequence. I just left it on there so I'd have something to hold to show you the part I did use. And so you can see how easy this is, and these pole ties don't have to be very tight, so they don't harm the branch at all, because a lot of people complain about when they're coiling, the wire starts to grow into the bark, and you got all this witness bark. When you take the wire off, the bark is damaged. Not so much in the evergreens, because they'll bounce back, but other trees will basically leave that injury there forever. And if you're putting these things on display or in a competition or an exhibition, you want your work to look good, and especially in a competition. Like, I've never been in a competition, but I'll bet you they do look at that and say, Okay, there's too much markings on it. A nice looking tree, but the bark doesn't look so good. This way here, you can bend your tree into anything you want, and they'll never know you used wire. They won't know how you did it, and you don't have to tell them either, because you hear them on YouTube and telling you don't share it with anybody, because if your tree is in a competition and shows no witness or damage to the bark and everybody else's does, you got something over them. I mean, you can win a lot of competitions just based on that alone, if that's something to look at, because I've never been to a competition, but I'm pretty certain they'd be looking at that, and like, you could just clean up. Anyways, so anyways, that's what you're doing. You're following the wire, and you bend this wire in any shape you want. I do it right at my desk. I don't even go out near the tree. I just bend a whole bunch of wires here, and it only takes me a minute or two. I just take a pair of pliers and say, oh yeah, that'll look neat, and I go out there and I just put down a branch, like I put the end of the wire, not the end of the branch, but the end of the wire wherever I want to start working the branch, and I just put the pole tie on there. You can leave the trailer on if you want. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt the thing, or you can just trim it off if you want. And you're going to leave it there for you're looking at about a year or two. What you do is you you start at the end, you cut the end one, see if the branch stays where it was. If it starts to go back, then you know you haven't done it for long enough. You're going to have to put another pole tie on there and leave it for another 6 months or something. But eventually, and the standard for this is the standard for the coil. It's just still the same amount of time. It's not like this takes longer or something. Once it's established its shape and it's not moving back, you can basically cut all the pole ties off. And see, that's another thing, is uninstalling this wire. It's very, you just snip, 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 snips. You might have 6 of them. It takes like 6 seconds to do 6 of them, and then the wire just falls off. And keep your wires, keep them in a box or something, because you can just use them for other trees. And if they aren't quite the shape you want, you just put some pliers to it and get them to the shape you do want. And you're back, and all you got to do is stockpile pole ties. And what you do is you look around. If you see some that goes on sale, you know, bundles of 100, just grab a few bundles, and you use much less wire. And see, this wire is basically, not exactly, but basically point A to point B, where the other stuff is coiled, so you're really using about 5 times as much wire. And I don't even know if you can use that wire over again, that coiled stuff, because you end up with this inflated coil. Like, it was hard enough to get around there when it was straight, let alone get it around there, unless you can straighten the wire out, I guess. I know that the best way to straighten out wire of any type is to put one piece in a vise and tighten it down, and then grab the other piece with the other end with a pair of pliers and just pull the shit out of it. It should go in a straight line. I've done that with that's a trick for straightening wire, not bonsai wire, but just wire in general. If you want a straight wire like a ramrod, you vise one end of it, just stick an inch of it into the vise, and then grab this end with a pair of pliers, and please don't put your weight on it, because if you slip with that wire, you're going west, and whatever's behind you, that's what you're going through. So you want to get your balance and just use your arm strength, not just so much of your weight of your body, because that's the downfall of straightening wire. But it does work. You can straighten basically any wire that way. And it's really cool, especially with brass wire. I've had electrical brass wire, not for trees, but it's all bent in weird shapes and shit. Put it in and you'll actually feel it stretch, and it'll just go like a straight line, perfect line. I used to do it for this girl I know. She was doing jewelry, and she used to have a bunch of wires. She'd say, oh, how can I get this wire straight, because it's a mess. I said, give it to me, I'll fix it all for you. Anyways, enough of that girl and that jewelry junk. Anyways, that's the way I'm doing it. It doesn't hurt you. If you should try it, to be honest with you. Just, I mean, you got the wire, the heavy gauge wire anyways. Just do one. Just bend up one shape you want, and if you don't want to go out and buy pole ties, you can just use duct tape or wrap thread. It's better. These are better because you can keep them looser, and they won't leave a mark on the the bark, I'm telling you, when you're finished, when this thing's finished and bent in shape, it'll never show any witness that anything was ever there. And that in itself has value. But the total value to me is how much work. I do this job very, very quickly. I go out there and I can do like 6 or 8 limbs in like 30 minutes and never crack a sweat. I mean, I'm happy doing my work, but the other one is, I just don't look forward to it. I don't look forward to just doing one. And as I said, I got a tree out there. I got to somehow get that shit out of there. It's full of coils in there, and I don't want to damage the tree. And I need to get it out because it's starting to cut into the bark. Anyways, give that a try if you want, and it'll work. It works for me. It'll work for you. And if it's easy for me, it'll be easy for you. And if it's cheap for me, it's cheap for you. And it's the solution to. I couldn't do it the other way. I figure this is the new gold standard. It should be, anyways. See ya.